Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to another Starcraft 2 broadcast. My name is Zanaris, and today we're here watching a 1 versus 1 on a map where the Terran player feels the need to load his SCVs into the command center. We have Coco spawning as the blue Terran in the top right, or top left position rather. His opponent is going to be the red Protoss, whose name I am not able to pronounce. Now, you're probably looking at the minimap and wondering, what the hell map are you watching a replay on, Zanaris? I've never seen this before. Well, this is one of the new GSL maps. This is called CREVASSE, and as you can already see, it is a friggin' huge map. These players are spawning miles away from each other, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here. And I'm actually going to spend a little bit of time and just go over the map. Now, here's the main base area right here for the Terran player, and it is mirrored down here, so everything I say, you can just imagine it's mirrored down there for the Protoss. Here's the main base. Immediately to the right, there is a ramp going up into a elevated area with an expansion. This expansion is entirely closed off except for this one ramp. But notice there's only 6 mineral patches here. Also, something you'll notice as I go around explaining the map, there are no high-yield expansions. So the minerals here in the center are all 5 mineral patches. Look at that, 5 there, 5 there. But this one has a rich Vespene geyser, so does this one, and the other 2 as well. So that is, anyways, back to here. This is the kind of natural-ish expansion that's really securely guarded by the main base. Here's the ramp leading out. Notice something. It's a very large ramp, and part of it is blocked off by a set of destructible debris. It is only 1,000 hit points as compared to the normal 2,000. And I just want to point out right here, the Protoss is opting to throw down an early Nexus at his guarded expansion there, and is now throwing down a pylon at the top of his ramp. And see, again, there's the destructible debris I was talking about with the large ramp. So going down the ramp here, if we go down to the southwest, we do have another expansion. This one has 8 mineral patches and 2 regular Vespene geysers. Terran player has thrown down a barracks at the top of the ramp here, and has 1 Marine, pretty typical. Gonna try to get that probe, nice little stop micro there, and dead. So anyways, down here we have the expansion with a ramp leading towards the center to the 5 mineral expansion there. But also over here, to the northeast of that 8 mineral expansion, there's a giant set of destructible debris. Now this looks like it's 3 parts, but it's actually just 1, 2,000 hit points, and this gives quicker access to the adjacent expansion right over here. And you can also see there are 4 xel'naga watchtowers, which are at the bottom of the cliffs, the high ground right here, which you can see. And very wide open area here in the middle with 4 ramps leading up to it. And just kind of going around the map here, you can kind of get an idea of the terrain. So you'll note a lot of these ramps very wide. So the main base does have this choke point at the start. You'll notice some of the other maps in the on the Korean server, they have neutral supply depots at the base of the ramp. Let's say the ramp is smaller, like this big. They'll have a neutral supply depot here that the player here can release and raise it up or lower it, and it's meant to kind of prevent the wall off with the pylons or the depots in the bunker, etc. So now we have Coco opting to throw down his command center here, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not expecting to see any sort of super traditional build orders here. At least not that you guys would be used to, simply because the fact that the dynamics of this game are going to be so very different from what we usually see on a standard Blizzard map. The spaces are just so much wider, there's so many more minerals, the mineral income will be different for the natural, because you've got 6 here, so the players are going to have to adjust accordingly. So you're probably not going to see the standard timings on certain builds or whatnot, but I'm looking forward to an epic StarCraft game nonetheless. This is part of the reason why StarCraft 1 was so popular for so long. Different maps breathe new life into the game, calling for different playstyles. And we're starting to see that here. This will be introduced, as far as I'm aware, in the next GSL 1 versus 1. Now, I am not entirely sure how they're going to be introduced into the rotation, whether or not it's going to be a standard opener or whatnot, but You know, that information is probably available. I just wanted to get this game out here as soon as possible and introduce you guys to, you know, what'll hopefully be the start of a long process of evolution for the game as we move past the initial Blizzard maps and on towards the more user-created maps that'll kind of change up the gameplay. So right now, the Terran player does have some Marines and Marauders kind of asserting a little bit of map control, trying to get these xel'naga watchtowers. Of course, this destructible debris kind of prevents the Terran from having immediate access to this one. But he does have access to this one, which is guarded off by a cliff right here, you can see, and a set of set of destructible debris. As the Terran player actually might move to do an early attack here against the Protoss. Looks like he's going to try to knock down that destructible debris and open up the Protoss ramp here, allowing the Terran to get up here for a much wider engagement. Protoss, let's actually look at his base right now. Look at that. We've got 3 gateways. We have a robotics facility and a robotics bay. The economy right now for both players is sitting at around 1,200. Terran's sending 1 Marine up here just to get an idea of what the Protoss has. He sees that Immortal, the Stalker, the couple sentries, and he decides that engaging right now really would not be in his best interest. Now, the Protoss does have a probe just kind of sitting up here right now. Not entirely sure what's up with that. But looking at the resources right now, you see he's sitting on about 500, 200 gas, 68 supply compared to 56 right there with the 400, 150. Terran just kind of switching around his buildings right now. Now, I'm going to warn you, if you haven't already looked at the video length, this is going to be a very long broadcast. So if you haven't already /popcorn/soda, I would suggest doing so now before it gets to be too intense. I've watched about the first 15 minutes or so, and just to kind of get an idea of how the how the build orders changed up a little bit. I haven't had too much play experience on this map in particular. So I wanted to kind of get some initial opinions, just kind of formulate some ideas myself on how things would go here, and just kind of see how the gameplay flows. I'm really kind of curious to see how it's going to go here. Again, I mean, being kind of a map maker myself, I enjoy looking at the little things in this map and seeing. I really like how this kind of reminds me of a snow-style map. I really have always enjoyed the snow maps. Even though they kind of hurt your eyes after a while, it's still nice to see. So the Protoss player right now throwing down Phoenixes. You can see he does have 2 of them on the way. Also another gateway, so which will bring him to 4. He's going to forge as well. Going to be looking to get some of those upgrades here. That was actually a pretty darn good idea, considering, again, the distance between the players here. It's going to allow for things to happen rather quickly. Like, it's going to allow the players to feel a little bit more comfortable in getting those early upgrades, not feeling like they're going to be quite sacrificing so much trying to get that going. So here we go with the first engagement. Protoss giving pursuit to the Terran player, and the Colossus is wrecking through the infantry. Look at that. Even the Phoenix is taking down the medevac, having to retreat there at the last second. Don't want to lose that Phoenix there. Meanwhile, a drop is coming in here for Coco. Watch that coming in right into the mineral line of the natural expansion. Just 4 Marines, though. Probably just looking for some kills, get a few free probes. That's going to be it. 1 probe has gone down. Second one, and giving pursuit. Maybe get a third. Yes, it looks like he will score that. Phoenix has arrived, however. The Terran player is going to realize rather quickly he cannot continue that engagement, so he is going to evacuate the Marines and take them back over, and probably land that and try to kill that Phoenix. You don't want to lose that medevac loaded with Marines. So Protoss, realizing that he's safe for the moment, has dropped down this expansion. Of course, this was going on while this happened down here, so Protoss feeling like he does kind of own this territory up here. You see he is dumping a lot of money into it already, as Coco does have a 1 Marine hanging out there. Now, looking at the Terran base right now, we can see he's got some nice production capabilities. He's got 4 barracks. Second factory is on the way. He's got 1 starport. And over here, expansion kind of saturated. Still working out there. This is one of the 8-patch ones, so we can expect to see a lot of SCVs coming on that. Protoss here moving out across the southwestern portion of the map. Just scouting out. May decide to try to do an attack here. I don't know. There is a set of destructible debris. We'll see exactly what he's doing right now. Just kind of moving his forces out across the map, checking to see if there's any expansions or whatnot. Anything he can pick off, any free Marine kills or whatnot. So there goes the destructible debris. Protoss just did not like the way that scrap metal was looking at him. Coco not entirely sure what's going on in the last couple minutes, so he's just kind of sitting out a couple of scouts. And looking at the vision for him right now, you see he does notice this army coming up here, so he's stemmed and trying to get an idea of what the army is made of. So we can expect to see him adjust his build accordingly. Combat shields, siege tanks coming down the line, as well as some infantry. Couple more Phoenix as well. Phoenix actually be really good on this map just because of how big it is. There's a lot of places here where you can retreat off of the ground in case you're being attacked by Marines or whatnot. Look at the probes coming down here, man. 2 probes here, 1 here, as we might have an engagement. Terran is looking to siege up and establish a position at the base of the ramp. Vikings are here to play, may decide to try to pick off a Phoenix or 2, maybe a Colossus if they're lucky, but the Phoenix are here driving away the Vikings. 1 probe still hanging out up here. Might have another expansion coming down for the Protoss. I'm not too sure. Phoenix tried to lift up one of the siege tanks, dangerously close. Vikings there and Marines responded very quickly, though, keeping that siege tank alive. Terran just throwing down a few more supply depots. Got a bunch of upgrades on the way, another starport. Protoss continuing with the Colossi. 4 more gateways are coming as we speak, so he's really going to be looking to capitalize on this additional income. And now he's got the probes just coming back. I guess he didn't want to drop those after all. He's been sitting on a decent amount of minerals. If you look at that right there, okay, there's the expansion dropping down at the top right. That one as well. So he's going to have a crap ton of money coming in here in just a couple minutes. We'll wait to see how he's going to saturate those. He may decide to just kind of even out his probes, maybe dump them all into 1 or 2 expansions and then just transfer them all and just hold on to those expansion with the Nexus. We'll have to see. Terran player thrown down a command center at the 5-patch expansion, or 6 rather. No, 5. I thought that was 5. I was wondering where the hell that came from. Right there. So the Protoss is also getting blank technology, weapons level 2 for ground, 2 additional gateways coming in, now 1. Okay, that one's just finishing up right there. 2 Templar archives. He is really wanting to get those upgrades super quick. He may be wanting to do some kind of push here very soon and just want those upgrades as soon as possible. We see he needs to transfer those last 2 gateways, buddy. Not sure why you haven't done that yet, but that's okay, because he is moving out possibly towards the center of the map. Again, his forces are just kind of roaming around. He wants to be on the move, making sure he is at least able to respond quickly to an attack, which right now it doesn't look like the Terran player is going to be doing anything. He's just building up, getting his economy going. As we do go past the 17-minute mark, we can look at the income tab and see that both players are very close. Even the Protoss is over 2K right now, 71 to 66. And at the units lost tab, we see it's about even, 10-10, 875 to 900. A couple Vikings heading out, looking to get a free kill or whatnot, just kind of get an idea of what's going on over here on this portion of the high ground. Well, Protoss does have his forces over here at the expansion, which really doesn't have a lot in the way of workers. He wants to keep the majority of his supply for his army. He's transferring some probes up here to this expansion, which, I don't know, it might be... Okay, I was about to say he's going to dump all those on minerals. People a little bit oversaturated there. Got a couple free shots there in the Phoenix. Protoss just kind of baiting away the Terran. There's the scan, checking for any observers, as Terran does look to move up. Nope, just kidding. I guess he wants to move a complete opposite direction there. So the Protoss is throwing down a good number of cannons up here. This is actually a pretty good idea. This is going to prevent any sort of, drops or whatnot, which, again, like I've said before, this map, very, very welcome to harassment, drops, Hellions, Zealot warp ends, things like that with the Warp Prism. Maybe even a Warp Prism Photon Mothership Mofo drop. Yeah, that was pretty sexy stuff. Always love the games from Cheetah Prime. So, Protoss moving out towards the middle portion of the map here. Again, just trying to secure his additional gateways. Look at that, man! The guy's going to have 16 gateways. That's just ridiculous. But, I mean, with the income right now, it's to be expected. I mean, both of them are sitting on a crap ton of resources. You see, Terran is even sitting on 2,500 minerals, and both players are supply blocked. So what else is there to do other than just expand your base and try to make it so that way when your army does die, you'll be able to recoup the losses very quickly. Protoss here with his giant ball of death. Uh-oh, a couple Marines coming over here trying to bait the Terran or the Protoss away. No siege tanks or anything like that. They're still way back here. So most of them won't be in firing range, so the Protoss decide to engage right here. As Terran continues to try to just pick off some free kills. Oh, blank tech right there, catching one Viking completely off guard. Now, I like how he has the Thors up here at the very front, going to absorb a lot of the damage. Let's wait and see if there's going to be an engagement here. These guys are so freaking close to each other, and the siege tanks are now in position. They will have coverage of the cliff there. Uh-oh, look at that. Protoss taking some early hits, blinking away from the siege tanks. Here's a giant engagement. Psystorms are landing all over the Terran army there on the cliff, while the Colossi take out the siege tanks. Oh man, look at that. Colossi are just having a field day with the infantry, knocking a ton of them out. And there's more Psystorms landing on top of the Terran forces, completely annihilating that army there at the top of the cliff. So Protoss now has control of the top, may look to try to assert some map control here as he does move over towards this planetary fortress. Is driven off by the siege tank there, at least momentarily. Probably wants to wait. Looks like he is transferring a couple of his High Templar into Archons. There's the scan, so Terran knows what's going on. This expansion looks like it's got a decent number of SCVs on it. Looking at the income tab right now, see it's about even, 1,400 to 1,400. Pretty big discrepancy with the gas, though. You see, that's where those extra probes are working towards right now. Protoss still just kind of hanging out in the middle of the map, not making any serious moves. Terran expanding very close to the Protoss expansion down here. I don't think either one of them knows about it just yet. No, they do not. Looking at the army size, we can see it's 135 to 164 in favor of the Protoss. But again, when you've got things like the Planetary Fortress, you've got these Hellions here, which are great at getting in there and trying to take out the High Templar. They won't take the extra damage from the Immortal or the Stalker. The Archons, I mean, they're Archons. They're just damn good at everything. And look at the Zealots coming in here, taking out this planetary fortress. This is going to cut the bases for Terran once again. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Hellions coming in here to the expansion. Quick response by the Protoss player. Will he lose these probes? I think he will. Look at that fantastic lineup. Oh my god, I cannot believe how many probes just died. More probes are being caught off guard. Look at that, transferring to the mineral line. Protoss trying to react. Not able to fast enough as the Hellions are coming down here. Oh man, look at that, going to be going into the mineral line once again. Oh, look at this. Look at how those probes die. It's just not even. Oh man, I'm sure there's a convention that banned this, but and hell with it. The probes are going down. That's all that's to be said, as the Terran actually might make an escape here. He looks to go into the to the main base mineral line here, try to take out the probes, getting the gas. This will hurt his gas income here a good bit. God, look at that, man. 6 kills on that one. You can see 11 kills on that one, 14 on that. And now they're going to finally meet their demise. I would say those Hellions definitely paid for themselves, completely shutting down the economy. Look at Red's income right now, down below 1,000, 65 to 32. Oh man, look at that. More Hellions coming in here to the mineral line and splitting off into 2 different directions, where he will knock off the mineral line for this expansion, while the other Hellions coming down here encountering the cannons. Going to try to run away. He realizes there's no probes here. He's going to have to get away from those cannons, and he'll probably get finished off up here. Oh no, he's going to bypass that expansion entirely. Going to come up here and finish off these last 2 probes. The Protoss coming over here with the Archons, and that's going to be that for that expansion. So Terran just shut that economy down, 65 to 34. Protoss just not able to keep that up for a minute or 2 there. He is rebuilding probes from probably all of his expansions. See, he's building 5 at a time right there. Trying to respond, but again, man, those Hellions, great harassment units, taking advantage of the mobility, the speed, and just wrecking the Protoss economy, setting him back a good bit. So we'll wait and see what the Terran player is doing here. He's actually transferring a ton of SCVs down to this expansion. Looks like that's just going to be a tiny bit oversaturated there, but this expansion has home mule time down here in the bottom right, bottom left-hand position. It is Mulefest 98 as these guys just go to work. Look at the income tab now. Going to be shooting up to almost 3,000 minerals per minute. Holy crap. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, you wanted a big epic game. You do indeed have it, as the Terran player producing the siege tank like nobody's business. Be able to lie down a great line of fire here. As we look at the Protoss base, still sitting on the 16 gateways. Expansion here, getting a photon cannon. Again, just got to make sure those Hellions are not a problem. Colossi coming over here, picking off a couple siege tanks. Oh, even the lift up from the Phoenix as he does move in with the Archons and everything. But the Phoenixes are the game changer, forcing the Colossi away. Blinkstalkers coming in here, taking a ton of damage. Look at that. Just